This is Mara Spencer, your Conscious Discipline Certified Instructor, and today I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes about ways to be helpful. Being helpful is one of the ways to fast track a child from their lower centers of their brain, where they're frustrated or throwing a fit, up into their higher centers of their brain, into those prefrontal lobes where they can think and learn and play. So if we want them to spend more time in their prefrontal lobes, wouldn't it be great to have a way to do that and to keep them in those prefrontal lobes when it's so hard for them developmentally? Being of service is one of the ways that we can do that. When we are of service to others and being of service to our family is a way that we can help them to stay in those higher centers of their brain where the learning, where the magic happens. And we can do that through being of service. So this is a way that we can do that so that they can be helpful and communicative towards others and stay in their prefrontal lobes and help us out around the house or around the classroom. Wouldn't that be awesome? I'm a mom of 4 kids, and I don't think that I could survive without our ways to be helpful chart. So we're going to do this in a way where we can show them our expectations visually. We can practice this and have them be more likely to help us out and want to be helpful and want to be of service to our family. I'm going to share some of those visuals with you now. So this is a ways to be helpful chart for a school age child. So if you have any older kids at home, then for us, having homework done was the best way to be helpful. So we have to make sure that we're responsible and take care of our needs first, and then we can do our other things. So some of you might be looking at this chart and think, put clothes away, make your bed, keep your closet clean, organize your toys. Those seem like chores. Well, we don't do chores for money in our house, and it's not because I don't want them to learn fiscal responsibility. I do, and I will give them some allowance and some opportunities to learn how to spend money and save money wisely. But being of service to our family is something we do because we're part of a family. I'm of service to them every time I make them dinner, every time I help them with their homework, every time I buy them clothes, every time I clean the house. I'm being of service to my family, and they can learn how to be that too. It's being part of our team. We don't do it to earn money. We do it because this is what helps keep our family whole and functioning. Keeping our house clean is helping to keep our family safe. Living in filth isn't safe. So these are ways that we keep our kids involved and of service to us. They're not jobs to be paid for. So if we want to have jobs around the house, we can absolutely do that. It can be my job to feed the dog. It can be my job to clean up the books. But we call that a librarian in our house. But those jobs are meaningful and of service to our family. These are ways that we can be helpful. So our ways to be helpful, they're not assigned. These are just, we're looking for something to do, just to want to do it, to be helpful. And so believe it or not, having this up and practicing, so especially because most of you guys have pre-K students, and that's why you're here in the first place. So you're either teaching pre-K students or you have a pre-K student at home. Some of you might have older or younger siblings as well. And so especially for those pre-K students to practice, let's pretend that we're being helpful by cleaning up our closet so that nobody trips over toys and that we're all safe. So let's pretend we're putting the toys away. When we introduce a new visual, we pretend to do it first so that it's more exciting for them, and it helps them when we do something in a playful manner. It helps them to build that new pathway in the brain to make it easier for them to do it. You'll be surprised. Children want to be of service. It feels good. So especially for our pre-K students who haven't really learned the snark yet, like our older ones, you'll be surprised at how often they'll go over to their chart and find a way to be helpful just because. And we're fostering that in them. Now, my kids, we have 4 in our house, so playing with the siblings is completely helpful. Keeping each other occupied, Yes, please. But they need a little bit more than that. So we have a whole nother banner of ways to be a kind and helpful sibling. So if they need some help on how to be helpful to each other, and not just things to do for our whole family, but be helpful to each other. We can play toys together. We have games that we can do, the gentle tickles and touches versus being too rough, wishing each other well. So, and these have grown and changed throughout the years as they have gotten older. But we give them visual support because really what we're doing here is helping them to be successful. When we give them a visual support, it helps them to be successful. And listen, this may look all fancy and pretty. That's my perfectionist side. All you have to do is draw them a picture, do it with your own body, take a picture and print it out on your computer. That's all these are, pictures printed out on the computer. And the banner store, guys, my entire visual collection is brought to you by the dollar bin at Target. It is my best friend. Banner, Target. Lots of little homemade books and things you can make, Target, dollar bin. So if you want to make it pretty, Target, but it really doesn't have to be. It just has to be there visually because kids think and learn in pictures up until the age of 8 or 9 years old. So when we give them a picture, we're helping them to really understand and be successful in the classroom. And then we can do the same things at home too. Think of ways that they can be helpful, sharing their toys, throwing away trash. Right now, checking to make sure your mask is on. All of these things we can do just to be helpful and to be of service. Think about ways that parents can help you in your classroom, teachers. It could be that, dropping things off. Now this has changed a little bit with COVID, but making sure that they have all of their stuff. A visual that you can send home that says, do they have their lunchbox? Do they have their water? Do they have their mask? Do they have a backup mask? Do they have hand sanitizer? Things that we can make a little checklist of ways that they can be helpful to us. So being of service is just got so many benefits to it. We're keeping them in their prefrontal lobes and teaching them that giving to others is important. This is a virtue that we want our kids to have and grow up with. We are helping out each other. They're helping us out by, it could be setting the table. Wouldn't that be helpful? But it's helping us. It's taking one less thing off our plates, but also it's keeping them in their prefrontal lobes. They're less likely to call you names and hit and kick and scream when they're being of service to you. So this is just something from my home and my classrooms that has helped us tremendously in keeping the peace and keeping things neat and organized, but also in appreciating each other. And that's my wish for you when we have learned in the last several months that the one thing we can rely on is each other, and we need to appreciate each other more. And I hope that this helps you to appreciate each other. I will be wishing you well each and every day through this, and I hope that it helps you as much as it has helped us.